You're listening to the AI Moment with me, Jonathan Wagstaff.
And me, Danny Denhard. Today, we're going to dive into something that's come out and actually is really interesting. Perplexity, which is typically known as an answer engine and got some notoriety fairly early on in the AI boom, just released what essentially is a success guide. So it helps people run through the tools, the prompts, and it's got a little bit of buzz online. Jonathan and I thought we'll dive onto it this week. So Jonathan, do you want to give people an overview and give people an idea of whether you think it's a good or a bad example for AI use cases?
Yeah, thanks, Dan. So as you say, the document is called Perplexity at Work, and it's downloadable from Perplexity's website for free. It's about 43 pages, but it differs from one or two of the other things out there in that it is, as you say, it's a guide to success. It's an operating manual almost for how you might use the AI tools from a helicopter point of view. Whereas a lot of the other papers produced recently have been more around, who's adopting AI, how are they using it? And, so 75% of users are doing this with it and all that kind of thing. This is a bit more of a guide. A couple of observations straight off the bat, and then we can get into it in more depth down. I think one is, this thing is obviously about Perplexity, and it suggests you use Perplexity to do all the things it's talking about, but it's equally applicable, I think, to, if you're using Google Gemini, if you're using Claude, or you're using ChatGPT, a lot of the things in this guide apply. So it's well worth the read, whatever your favorite model is for your AI use. And the other thing is, it strikes me very clearly, this is, we've talked before about the ongoing battle between the different players, and they're really all trying to establish themselves as the operating system. So this is Perplexity for me making a great big jump to say, this is how Perplexity can be a complete operating system. And when you consider a year ago, as you say, they were an AI search engine, AI answer engine. They were really very clearly in the AI search space. They're now clearly seeing themselves as a full service operating platform. And we can get into the detail of why that is and where that is as we go on. But they were my first reactions when I read it straight away. I was like, okay, this is really interesting. What did you think, Dan? What was your feel for it?
Yeah, when you sent it over to me the weekend, it's one of those things that you look at and you think, oh, it's just another guide. And you get about 4 or 5 pages in and it's really useful. They've really thought about how the suite of tools work together. So Perplexity used to just be perplexity.ai. And now it's got a number of different features that's built into it. So it's now a browser with Comet. It's now got an email tool as well, which is all AI driven. And something I use Perplexity for is some of the prompting is really useful. It really understands natural language. But I use it to do tasks and digests. And I get it to send me the most interesting news or the most interesting papers, for instance, and I get that on a daily basis. So I get it way before 7 a.m. I wake up and it summarizes it for me, and then it jumps me through to a landing page. So I think these are some really useful ways of doing it. The prompt guides are really good because it tells you how to be good on Perplexity, but which, like you said, Jonathan, it makes it useful across all the other models as well. Something I like what they've kind of called out is they're going from productivity as a first step into then showing their investments and the ROI that will come from it. So I've got a little hint to where I think they might be going, which is actually now, I think, like you said, an operating system, but I think they might be heading more towards Notion's area, where you become an all-in-one suite, where it's a little bit more modern. It does a lot of the assistant and agent work for you, enables you and unlocks you to do more of the work. So that's kind of my read on it, but I really like how they thought about this guide, and maybe subconsciously they thought this could be helpful in other areas too.
Yeah, I agree. And the thing I love is they've helicoptered out, and the guide is really, as I said, 43 pages or 44 pages, something like that. But it's really in 3 big sections, and they go at this. They say, right, this is the way you really get productivity is you do this in 3 layers. So section 1, what tools can you put in place to block the distractions? How can you reduce context switching? How can you reduce things like, as you say, being distracted by email and all those things? So number 1 is go and do that and set things up so that you don't get distracted, or you can block all the distractions. And as you say, there's tools in there to do that. Then stage 2 is to scale yourself. So to start to treat work as systems, not tasks. So, if you're going out and doing things, then using some of the tools to do that. And then stage 3 is then you get the results. Then you can aim the AI at measurable outcomes, whether that's performance reviews or sales data or proposals or whatever it is you're doing. So you've got this kind of 3-stage process. And I really like that as a model to say, this is how you go and do it. And they've built a whole set of tools within the model that will help you do that. One of the things they're really strong on, and again, back to our point about maybe they're trying to become the operating system, is they make a big thing about, every time you're switching between different tools in a technology stack, you're wasting time, it's confusion. So kind of like you have it all in one place. And obviously from their point of view, that should be Perplexity. So I really like that helicopter kind of 3-layer AI playbook view they took that really makes sense to me.
Yeah, one area we should probably call out, when you were talking, I wasn't necessarily thinking about raising about it when I was sort of creating notes before, but something all the AI companies are doing at the moment is they're trying to race to become an actual utility. So not just for you to make prompts, it's for you to be a daily active user. So I think Perplexity's shift from answer engine to, workspace, helpful workspace assistant or agent, I think is their real play. Obviously, ChatGPT have done it with Atlas, and they're all going after browsers now. But I think it's really important that when you think around the tools and the models that you use now, is the more that they add on top, the more that they're trying to take your money from other AI tools and engines. So I think Perplexity have done a great job of the guide, but it does open their playbook up in showing that they want you to be solely given and rely on Perplexity as your utility, or you become one of their many DAUs that they need to stay sustainable.
I have no doubt about that, Dan. I think you're absolutely right. And we've talked before about I think the end game for all those players is that they are your kind of life operating system. So we don't have to look very hard to see that you might be wearing some kind of, I don't know, some little device on your lapel or something. And that thing is just learning you everything about you, your business work, your personal work. So it can give you better and better advice and answers, goes the argument. Of course, you have to give up a degree of privacy to get that utility, but I've no doubt that's where they're all heading. And this is obviously a step in that direction from Perplexity's point of view. So no doubts about that.
So if we were to summarize and wrap up, a couple of points are really useful for people to go away and take on board is have a read through or use your favorite tool to summarize it for you. As we've always said, that's a great use case for people to use when there's white papers and longer docs. Understand where they've become and they choose to become your assistant and then your agent. So how they can assist you with a task or actually take on board and become your agent and use some of their softwares and their tools to become your agent and do work for you. And then, as Jonathan called out, is how can it reduce a lot of the context switching and reduce some of the cognitive load that we have with all the different tools that we use to help you along the way. To wrap it all up, I would say definitely read this because this gives you a great insights and actually be something that Jonathan and I would have tried to put together if we had the time for you to go away and learn. So I'd highly recommend reading it and digesting it.
I would agree, Dan. I think, you and I see lots of these papers. Some are good, some are not, but this one I think is really worth reading. And as I said earlier, it's about Perplexity, but a lot of the rules apply to whichever model you're using. There's some really good models in there that you can work with. So encourage people to download it and have a look at it.
We'll add it into the supporting newsletter. So we'll have it as a download option, or we might embed it in there so you can take away, and we'll give our 3 to 5 top points in there as well. So that would be really useful for you. Thanks a lot, Jonathan. I think this will give a lot of people food for thought and give them a lot of help actually on their AI journey.
Good to see you, my friend. I'll see you next time.
Thanks for listening today, everyone. If you liked what you heard, please give us a rating and review in any of the podcast players. We have a supporting newsletter, which is aimoment.co.uk, that comes out on Mondays and Fridays with every pod, and we dive a little bit deeper. So please subscribe there. Have a great week, and we'll see you soon.